Hello and welcome, Minnesota Farah. We are genuinely very happy to have you with us for our daily coverage of the NFL news. Please subscribe to our channel to support our initiative as we bring to you the latest updates from the world of NFL on a daily basis. Now let's dive deep into our news stories.
Welcome to this comprehensive NFL news roundup for today. I'm your host, and today we've got a jam-packed schedule of updates, signings, injuries, and more from around the National Football League. 1. Jonathan Taylor's return to practice. Our first news of the day revolves around a player who has been making waves in the league, Jonathan Taylor. The talented running back for the Indianapolis Colts is set to return to practice this Wednesday. It's a crucial development for the Colts, as Taylor's presence on the field can be a game-changer. Now, let's move on to our next update. 2. Transactions from the Arizona Cardinals. Turning our attention to the Arizona Cardinals, they've been active on the transaction front. They've brought in punter Blake Gillikin, a move that could impact their special teams. But, on the flip side, punter Nolan Cooney has been let go. These moves show that even special teams can be a focus for improvement in the NFL. Now, let's move on to our next update. 3. Atlanta Falcons practice squad addition and injury woes. The Atlanta Falcons have also been busy. They've signed wide receiver Frank Darby to their practice squad, indicating they see potential in this young player. However, they've hit a bump in the road with tight end Parker Hesse being placed on the practice squad injured list. Injuries are always a concern, and they can significantly impact a team's performance. Now, let's move on to our next update. 4. Signings and practice squad news from Baltimore Ravens. Shifting our focus to the Baltimore Ravens, they've made some intriguing signings. Cornerback Tree Swilling and defensive back DeAndre Houston Carson have been added to their practice squad. The Ravens are known for their strong defensive play, and these additions could bolster their depth. Now, let's move on to our next update. 5. Chicago Bears injury report and roster moves. The Chicago Bears, despite a tough 0-4 start, are dealing with both injuries and roster moves. Offensive lineman Tevin Jenkins, who's been nursing a calf injury, was a full participant in Tuesday's practice. However, the news isn't as positive for defensive backs Eddie Jackson and Jaylon Johnson, both dealing with injuries. On a positive note, they've signed defensive back Duron Harmon to their active roster, a move aimed at shoring up their secondary. But it's not all good news, as linebacker Buddy Johnson has been waived due to injury. The Bears are undoubtedly in a transition phase, looking for ways to turn their season around. Now, let's move on to our next update. 6. Transactions from the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals have also been active in shaping their roster. They've added wide receiver Kendrick Pryor to their practice squad, potentially adding depth to their receiving core. It's always intriguing to see how young talent develops in practice squads, as they could become key players in the future. Now, let's move on to our next update. 7. Denver Broncos practice squad signing and roster cuts. The Denver Broncos have made a move by signing wide receiver Tre'Quan Smith to their practice squad. Smith brings experience to their receiving core and could be a valuable asset. On the flip side, they've waived cornerback Essang Bassey, a tough decision that showcases the competition for roster spots in the NFL. Now, let's move on to our next update. 8. Green Bay Packers injury updates. Let's head to Green Bay, where the Packers have received some positive news. Left guard Elgton Jenkins has returned to practice after missing the last 2 games. His presence on the offensive line is crucial for protecting their star quarterback. Additionally, cornerback Eric Stokes has been designated for return from injured reserve, which could bolster their defense. Now, let's move on to our next update. 9. Roster moves from the Houston Texans. In Houston, the Texans have made a roster move by waiving punter Ty Zentner. Special teams can often be overlooked, but it's a vital part of the game, and changes in this area can affect field position and scoring opportunities. Now, let's move on to our next update. 10. Indianapolis Colts signings and injury news. Back to Indianapolis, where they've made an interesting addition. Wide receiver Amari Rodgers has been promoted to the active roster. This could indicate a desire to add more weapons for their quarterback. However, cornerback Dallas Flowers has been placed on injured reserve, a reminder of how injuries can disrupt a team's plans. And there you have it, folks, a comprehensive look at the latest NFL updates. The NFL is a constantly evolving league, with teams making moves to improve their rosters and overcome the challenges of injuries. Please consider subscribing for more exciting developments in the world of American football. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll catch you next time.